Hello, Hans here. In this video, I'm going to show you my own blog automation machine, which I also call BAM because it was a nice acronym. But I've been building content automation systems for the last like 1.5 years, and it's become pretty large beast. So instead of showing you all the make scenarios and all the interfaces, I'm going to go through it in a more structured way because it is a very large system. So explaining all the ins and outs makes more sense in this way. But just to get an overview, um, in Make we have 24 different scenarios with more than 500 individual nodes comprising, the whole system, and kind of looks like this. Doesn't You don't know what it is, but I know, and if you get the scenarios, you will know as well. So just to give an example of like how they look, how large they are, and inside of AI tables, I use AI tables. You could use Airtables as well to build a system like this. We have like 12 different data sheets that does different stuff. Some are databases for keeping categories and languages and locations. Others are for dynamically setting up new sites and having new prompt templates created, and of course all the articles and news and all that stuff that we'll come to. But the blog automation machine really sets itself apart because you can manage from one up to multiple hundreds of sites within the same system. And it all runs automatically from after you've initiated the site. It will then go ahead and do everything by itself, even create images, upload, all that stuff. You will use a lot of operations if you add a lot of sites. But let's take a look at these initial categories. So we have the BAM settings here, the first one that I've just unlocked here. That is the high level, like the system settings. So you can think of BAM as a system or network of sites, and then you have top level system settings that goes down from there. We have site initiation, so each site getting set up and their settings. We have RSS feed and news stories, so we can create news, so news creation as well. These two are tied together. Then we have a whole section for keyword research, which are used for blog creation. Then we have a block for maintenance, so updating, deleting, doing stuff within the system to keep everything running. But in the BAM settings, so the top level network settings, we have RSS settings, we have keyword settings, and we have general categories. The general categories are just for your network of sites. What different categories are your sites in? That would be showbiz and AI or sports, whatever your site is in. You can think of this like creating a large VPN, so private blogging network, that can be achieved with this. So one person could manage a whole VPN network. If we unlock here the RSS, the settings per RSS or within the RSS thing here is item use limit, meaning that each news story, how many times can we reuse that story in our network of sites? Oftentimes this will be one or two. Item expiration, how many days can we have this or can we write about this story? Like if it's 1 day old, then it will be no longer in use. And then we have deletion time, meaning that we only have RSS items in our system for 5 days. After it is 5 days old, it will be deleted. The reason why we have this is because you can imagine if you have like 50 different RSS feeds that are adding 10 to 15 news stories per day, it will start to add up to a lot within just a month. So we need to keep it clean and have these cleanup times. Under keywords, we have a setting for how many times can we use an individual keyword within our network. So if you have multiple sites within the same niche, you don't want your network of sites to all be writing around about the same keyword. At least like you can have one or two, like two sites writing about the same keyword, but then that may be the limit. So yeah, that's high level settings for the BAM system. Then we have site initiation and settings. So first of all, we have the site settings, or we actually have, let me just add this here. We have, we have that over here. That is site initiation here. Site settings. We set up, when we add a site, we add a volume parameter. So how many news stories, if we are writing news stories, we can do a check if we want to or not, and how many blog posts per day. So that is volume 24 hours. And then we, of course, set the general category, which is like that one over there. Let me just pick this one. So these two here are tied together. And then we have internal or linking setup. So we can check if we want a site to automatically add internal linking between the articles that is creating. And we can set the site to increase DA, meaning that the site will be available. We have, let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sites. This site here is checked for increased DA. Then when these sites here, so this one and this one, this one, when they are creating blog articles, they will be able to link up to site number 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. They will start to add external links from their blog posts up to blog posts created by site number 1. But site number 1 won't be adding links to 2, 3, and 4. Number 2 won't be adding to 3 and 4, and so forth, because we have not enabled increased DA for 2, 3, and 4, only for 1. So we kind of create this setup where we can start to increase domain authority per site. So we can choose which sites we want to buff up. And then we have templates, which are prompts. I actually think I have it down here. Maybe I don't go here. No, down here. We have here. We can add, these are the standardized templates that we have, prompt templates for creating our outlines, our titles, news titles, so forth. And we can start to add specific prompts and writing styles and templates to the different sites if we want to. So we can start to add our own, tweak this for generalized purposes, and then start to add, for example, for sports sites, it should write in a certain way, or for tech sites, it should add and write in this way. And we can then start to add our own prompt templates from the AI table interface. Let me just go here. Then we do site research. When we initiate the site, we do a site research. What this site initiation process does is that it creates a site description. So it goes ahead and crawls the site. Then it finds the homepage, the contact, about page, like relevant pages that explain like what this site is about. If nothing is there, it will use the general category that we set the site to, this one here. So this one here, site description, will be based on general category if if it can't find enough descriptions about the site. And this general category will also override the site description to a certain degree. Okay, but then it will create a site description and a customized writing guide, including an ICP/avatar description. And it will also go ahead and evaluate all the categories that your site has installed. I'll just add that I've only built this for WordPress, I built it for WordPress, and it's so massive that it only works for WordPress. But anyways, it will go ahead and pull all the site categories. It will also pull all the users in, but it will pull all the categories for the site, and based on our description of the site here, it will add more categories if it deems it necessary. So it will evaluate the current categories and then add more categories if it thinks that the site should have more categories in different areas to be a more all-around site, or at least fulfill its purpose within the niche. And then before you start writing, like you do the initiation, and before you start the keyword research, you then have to review your categories, like did we pull the correct categories? Do we need to delete? You might have some dummy categories, whatever it is, before we start the keyword research phase. Then we will just, you will have to review this and see, like, did the initiation research categories, are they spot on now? Once it looks good, the final step in the initiation part is the keyword research. And this goes ahead and does a keyword cluster based on the site categories. So these ones over here. So this here will determine the clusters it's gonna build. But I have a whole category over here on like the keyword research specifically. Awesome. We've now initiated, like, this is just setting up the site and it is now ready with all the information. We can now start to set up RSS feeds to feed in news stories within our category or niche. So first of all, we have specifically a setting or a datasheet for RSS feeds, and I call news stories, I call them RSS items. So RSS feeds in RSS items, which are news stories. So inside our RSS feed setting, we can initiate and terminate feeds. What this does is that you add the RSS feed link URL, and then you initiate that. That will create a new scenario within your account in order to feed in those news stories. And we'll do that on an hourly basis and check that RSS feed. You can also go ahead and terminate your feeds just from the interface. And it's a nice way to not go into make and duplicate a scenario and add the new URL and so forth. You can just do it from the interface from Aitables. That's pretty neat. What this does is when you initiate RSS feeds, so we have initiated this, created a new scenario, it will then start to add new RSS items here. And once we add an RSS item, it will set that for ready to use. And the RSS item itself, so the news story, it has some settings. Let me just collapse this one. And these settings here are linked to this setting here. So each RSS item has intrinsic settings based on our network setting, which is item use limit, expiration, and deletion time. Then we, once an RSS item is used over here, we go ahead and we scrape the article. So when the article is picked for creation, it's first then that we go ahead and scrape the actual article. So the newsfeed, the RSS, doesn't or almost never includes the whole article. So when we get an item from an RSS feed, the whole article is not there. Like, they like to keep news stories sealed away in their own network. So we need to go ahead and scrape the article, but we don't want to scrape all items that comes in if they are not used for news creation or a news story in our network. So it is first when the RSS item is picked for creation, we go ahead and scrape the article, and then we go ahead and select a suitable image from Pixabay based on AI selection. So go ahead, we do a search phrase and we pick 20 items and we let AI, based on the image descriptions, we go ahead and let AI pick the correct image for that news article. And that is then fed over into our news creation process. So in our news creation process, we have a volume, which again is tied to, that is actually this one here. So this here, this setting here is used for when we should create news stories. So we can set the limit to like 10 news stories per day, and then it will stop after it has created 10 news stories on that day. And the research limit is every 24 hours. The production here happens, per 24 hours. And the production itself looks like this. Goes ahead and looks at all the RSS items that are available within the site's generalized generalized category. So this category here, that category here, we set for the site. That category is also actually set on the RSS feeds. So each feed is categorized by our generalized categories. And then we go ahead and like select the best news story for that site, like what tickles the AI that day. It rewrites the news story. It then downloads the image here that we selected. So we selected the URL, we didn't download the image over here because we don't want to waste energy and tokens and all that. So only when we have rewritten the story will we download the image and set for that news story, and it will then be set ready to upload. Once it is ready for upload, the maintenance guys over here will then, per a certain cadence, go ahead and check if there are anything ready for upload. So that is news creation. That just happens once you set up the system and edit an RSS feed within the category for the site. Now we have these two here, and keyword research and blog creation is within the same system, but they are separate because keyword research and blog creation, yeah, I'll go through it. Keyword research here. Keyword research was done here the first time it's done as part of the site initiation. If you want to create blogs, if you just want a news site, you actually don't need to do the keyword research. You just add RSS feeds and then start the RSS or news creation process. But once you started the keyword research process, it will go ahead and look at all the categories. So the ones that we pulled from the site, not the generalized category, but this one here. So the site categories from WordPress and the additional categories that we added, minus the ones that we removed, if we removed anything. And then it will create the volume, like the amount of keywords that we're gonna generate or pick from our keyword research. And we do this with the keyword research API tool. And it's gonna pick keywords that will feed the site for approximately 4 weeks or a month. And the amount that it selects is based on this setting here. So the volume per 24 hours, like how many blog posts are we going to produce per 24 hours. If it's only one, then we need around 30 keywords for the keyword research to last the 4 weeks or 4.3 weeks, whatever there's in a month. If the blog per 24-hour settings is set to like 5, then it's 5 times 30, and then it's a lot more. Yeah. Then we have an setting inside our cluster. So we go ahead and look at the categories. We then select a seed keyword per category, and then we let the AI pick how many, the amount per each category. And then we have a review step where we feed this new cluster, this new keyword cluster, into a AI reviewer, and we ask it to review is this cluster good enough based on blog creation criteria and the site description. So we take away and we like don't be too general for the keyword research. Don't do like I don't know, sports in Denmark. That's too general. That's not a blog article keyword. Maybe that is, maybe it's not. I don't know. But it will remove generalized keywords and say like, is this cluster good enough? Sometimes it'll just do a few tweaks. Other times it will feed the entire thing back to the cluster creation, like the whole keyword research process, and say like, this is not good enough, and it will give an explanation to why it's not good enough and say like, do this again, but focus on this, this, and this. And then, so it has this loop where it feeds back and forth until it creates a keyword cluster that is good enough. Awesome. And besides that, once the first one is done, and maybe we run out of keywords, the maintenance guys here will do another keyword research, it tracks the previous seed phrases, seed keywords, seed phrases, and also keywords. So it won't create the same keywords twice, and it also has record of what it did last time in order to get an idea of like, okay, I've already done this over here. Maybe I need to focus a bit more in another area to expand the topics or the broad, like deepen the topical authority for that site in the different categories that we have here. So that is all built in to the keyword research phase or function of the BAM system. Coolios. We now have keywords for the site. We can now start the actual blog creation phase. And again, it is volume based and it resets every 24 hours. Again, it is the site settings that determine how many is created per 24 hours. We also have some image settings for the site, meaning that when we produce blog articles, we actually generate images using ideogram, and these images are created for, like, you can determine how many images you want to have in your article. So it's a rate base, and that is set on the site settings level. Anyways, when we create articles, we have a get SEO process that goes ahead and scrapes the SERP, so the top 10, and it picks the top 3 best articles and then extracts all the information from those 3 articles that it thinks has the best and most valuable information, and it summarizes that into specifics that it can then use to generate its own article. It goes ahead and generates an outline. Within that outline, we also have this internal external linking function that will go ahead and pull sites in. So blog posts that are internal and blog posts that are external. And we have a system in place that tracks how many internal links a specific article has gotten, how many external links a specific site has gotten or page, so we don't overlink to a specific page. That happens all automatically, and there's a limit to how much it automatically sorts, so it won't take the highest linked pages first. There's a whole thing built in there to kind of even this out and don't do stupid shit. So that's handled, and that gets into the outline. The outline is actually, we have a review step in the outline. So we review our outline, and then maybe it's down here actually. Is this one? No, over here. Yeah, this one. No, that's the get SEO. No, the outline's not there. Anyways, we do review on the outline to check if we have too much redundancy in our sections. And then if we have too much redundancy or it needs to be rewritten, the AI will say, like, this is too redundant, or I don't think this will be a good fit. Here's the changes, and then we rewrite the outline and then pass that along. The outline is then used to write the entire blog, and the blog creation process is built up in title, excerpt, intro, FAQ with FAQ schema, all that shit, and then it writes each section by itself, and it actually rewrites each section if it thinks it is too redundant based on the entire article written before it. So we feed it the, like, while we are building the article, we will feed it the entire article and then have an AI review the new section and ask it, is this too redundant, or is there something missing? Do we need to rewrite this section? If yes, then it goes ahead and says, like, this is what you need to focus on in the review or rewrite process, and then the section is rewritten. Awesome. Now we got an actual blog post, and we will go ahead and generate all the images. And we have our maintenance guys to ensure that all images are generated before it will be uploaded. And again, our maintenance guys will also be looking for ready to upload articles. Damn, almost done. Now we have maintenance, which is like what small things do we actually need to do. So in the RSS maintenance department, we have tracking of RSS item usage, meaning that every time a new story is used to create a rewrite new story, it will be ticked as we've used this now. And then it will go ahead and link to the settings, the BAM settings, meaning that if we exceed our item use limit, that specific item won't be able to be used anymore, and so forth. We have a process that will delete the RSS items that are too old. So clean up here. Um, we have feed scrape tracking, meaning that some RSS feeds, some sites, are notoriously hard to scrape. Like in our scraper, we have IP rotation and JavaScript enabled and all that in order to like secure a good scrape. But even with IP rotation and all that, we still get some sites that just block our scraping attempt. So this scrape tracking ensures that we can see or look at a glance at our RSS feeds and see like, is this RSS feed like too hard to scrape? Are it failing like 70 or 80% of the times? Then it might be better to just terminate that feed and find another one. And then we have maintenance, upload news every 60 minutes. And that is, of course, like here is what this is looking for. For the blog, it will track again keyword usage in order to not create too many blog posts within our BAM network with the same keyword. Because you may, like, if we have like 10 sites under the same niche, so we might have 10 sites under spirituality. And we don't want to be like too much overlapping. So we need to minimize overlap on keywords between the sites. So we can set the keywords uses to 2, for example. So 2 of the sites will have that. That is under maintenance. Then we have again blog upload every 60. Oh yeah, that was the RSS. Sorry. This one is of course over to the RSS. It was up there. There we go. And this one here is of course that one. There we go. Under maintenance for the blog, we also have if images are stuck, it will try and regenerate them. It will also check like, did we get stuck? Are we missing images? All that. And it will try to regenerate the images. And this function here actually checks that this is done. So we won't upload anything if the images are missing or if any images are missing at all. And then we have the keyword research maintenance. And that is when the site is low, run a new keyword research. So when the specific site is low on keywords, meaning that we only have like 5 keywords left, it will trigger a new keyword research. And as you remember in the keyword research phase, we check here, we track previous seed phrases, and we also track previous keywords used. So it won't pick keywords that we already have, and those keywords are also based on the specific site and also on item use limit. So there's a lot of small settings that like interconnect into the BAM system, and there's like a gazillion things that interconnects to the blog automation machine in order to make it work as a functioning machine without doing stupid stuff like always linking um, to the same 3 pages. Like if you don't have tracking on how many times you added a link to that specific page, you might run into a specific page because of its specific keyword will get like all the link juice, and you don't want that. So yeah, this is our blog automation machine. I hope you found this interesting. I know it's a lot. I don't know how long. Yeah, 30 minutes for going over this, and I didn't even show anything of the system. This is just high level logic stuff. I think it will take like days if I had to go through the entire build um, and show you each little thing and why we added that thing in. So it might be like a whole course education in itself on how to build stuff like this. But this is production grade content creation for people who have, you can use it with one site, but ideally you would have multiple sites, and managing multiple sites on autopilot. So you initiate the site and then you let it run. Um, and yeah, hopefully you have a lot of sites and you start to integrate these and have internal linking done. And actually, let me just go down here. You can choose, you can set it to SEO. Like, first of all, you can set where in the world we are searching, doing our SEO research. So the SEO location, that is down here. And then in that location, what language are we searching in? And then the final one is, what is the actual output language of the site? So what I would do in Denmark, I would probably do uh, location US, SEO language English, because yeah, that just fits together. Um, but if I had a Danish site, I would then change this to Danish. And this way, I would now have all my news feeds and all my blog articles. I will be searching in the US, doing my keyword research, my SEO research, and my news feeds are just news feeds, but my output would be in Danish. So I can start to pull in information from areas that are hard to get. So I could actually do this in a like an aggregated Chinese version where we do my articles in Danish and I could find RSS feeds from China if I were intelligent enough to know which RSS feeds from China that had the latest and best news, for example. Or you could do it from like Spain or Brazil over to Pakistan, whatever you want. Um, and I really think that there's some good use cases in doing it from US keyword research and SEO over to European languages and also Spanish. I think there's good synergy there. But yeah, that is the BAM system, the blog automation machine. And if you want to get access to this, you have to become a client. So at the moment, we have our ABC platform where all this is included. Let me just draw it like this. All this and a lot more. We have a lot more automations in there. And we will be not closing, we will be sunsetting the ABC platform in a few months. And then we will go over to a VIP program, so an invite program only into our ABC platform. So for now, you will still be able to get access fairly cheaply to these large systems here. But going forward in a few months, we will be switching over to an invite only program where we will be more hands on with the clients that we take in, but it will be invite only into the ABC platform. So yeah, hope you learned something and found it inspirational. If you have any questions, just drop it below. You can also join our free community and ask questions in there. So, anyways, have a great day. Bye.